You probably think your dog loves you because you feed him, take him for walks, maybe toss a ball once in a while. But what if I told you? Some of the strongest signs of a dog's love have nothing to do with food or fetch. Picture this. You're sitting quietly, maybe after a long day, and he yawns right after you. Is that just coincidence? Or something deeper? Today, we're going to uncover 10 proven ways dogs show love to their owners, backed by real science. And here's the thing. Sign number 5 is one almost every owner misses, yet it may be the clearest proof your dog trusts you completely. Which of these signs have you noticed in your own dog? Which ones might surprise you? Let's start with the first one, and I'll bet you'll be watching your dog a little differently by the end. What are 1 yawns with you? Have you ever sat on the couch, stretched, let out a big yawn, and then your dog did the exact same thing? You might think it's just a funny coincidence, but scientists at the University of Tokyo found something remarkable. Dogs are far more likely to catch a yawn from their owner than from a stranger, and it's not because they're stressed. In people, contagious yawning is linked to empathy, so if your dog yawns right after you, it could mean he's tuned into your feelings in a way you never imagined. Now here's where it gets interesting. Does he do it only when you're relaxed, or even when you're upset? Could he be mirroring your emotions, trying to comfort you without a single bark? Keep that in mind, because another sign of love works on the same deep emotional level. But instead of his mouth, he uses his eyes. And when you understand that look, you'll never see your dog the same way again. More 2. Gazes into your eyes. You've probably felt it, before that moment, when your dog locks eyes with you, and it's like the rest of the world just fades away. You might think he's waiting for a command, or maybe hoping for a treat. But according to a study published in Science, something far more powerful is happening. When you and your dog gaze into each other's eyes, both of your bodies release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that connects mothers to their babies. This isn't obedience. This is attachment, trust, and love on a chemical level. Now here's a question. How often do you look back and hold that gaze? Do you ever notice his eyes soften, like he's trying to tell you something you can't hear, but you can feel? That look is his way of saying you matter more than anything else in the room. And yet, love can be shown without even meeting your eyes. Sometimes, it's written in the smallest movement on his face, a movement most owners miss entirely. Let's see if you've ever caught it. 33. Raises eyebrows. You might not think twice about your dog's eyebrows. In fact, you probably don't even think he has any. But watch closely the next time you walk into the room. Does he tilt his head just a bit, open his eyes wider, and lift that inner brow? Researchers writing in scientific reports found that dogs make this specific facial movement far more often when a human is paying attention. It's not just random muscle twitching, it's an intentional way to look more expressive, more in tune with you. In a way, it's his silent smile. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. He doesn't do this with other dogs, only with people he cares about. Have you noticed if he pairs it with a little tongue poke like he's trying to mimic your own expressions? What if I told you that this tiny, almost invisible gesture could be his way of saying, "I see you, and I want you to see me back"? And sometimes, right after he flashes that silent smile, he'll do something else, not to get your attention, but to keep you close. It often happens right after a meal, and it's one of the most genuine shows of affection a dog can give. Number 4. Cuddles after eating. You feed him every day, maybe even at the exact same time, and sure, he's happy to see that bowl hit the floor. But what happens after the last bite might be the real story. Does he wander off to nap alone? Or does he find you lean into your side and settle in, That's not just a full belly talking. Studies show that gentle touch between dog and owner releases oxytocin and endorphins in both of you, the feel-good chemicals that strengthen bonds and melt away stress. In that quiet moment, he's telling you, I'm not here for the food, I'm here for you. How often do you stop and let him have that moment without rushing off? And here's a thought: if he could choose between his dinner and your company, which would win? Sometimes he answers that question himself, by bringing you something he treasures far more than kibble. It's chewed, it's worn, and to him, it's priceless. 5. Brings favorite toy. It's one thing when your dog chews on his favorite toy until it's falling apart. It's another when he walks over, drops it right in your lap, and looks at you like you're supposed to know what to do next. You might think he just wants to play, but studies on canine social behavior tell us it's more than that. Dogs are naturally possessive about their favorite objects, yet here he is offering you his most prized possession. That's trust. That's saying, I believe you'll keep this safe, just like you keep me safe. Have you noticed if he does it more when you've been gone for a while, almost like a peace offering or a welcome home gift? Or maybe it's his way of starting a game only the two of you play. Whatever the reason, he's letting you into his inner circle. But here's the twist. Some dogs don't use toys to show that level of trust. Instead, they let you do something most dogs avoid, something that goes against their natural instincts. And if your dog allows it, you've earned a place in his world that few ever reach. 6. Lets you touch head. Most dogs don't love a hand coming down over their head. In the canine world, that motion can feel threatening, especially if it's from someone they don't fully trust. But if your dog lets you rest your hand on his head, maybe even closes his eyes while you do it, that's not just tolerance, that's confidence in you. Research on canine body language shows that relaxed posture, softened eyes, and stillness during head touches are signs of deep trust and comfort. Think about it. He's putting one of his most vulnerable spots right under your hand. Does he lean into it like he's asking for more? Does he sigh that little dog exhale that tells you he's letting his guard down completely? Those moments say, you're safe to me. And even when you're not there, that bond can still show itself. Sometimes it's in the way he searches for you, not with his eyes, but with his nose finding pieces of you in the quiet corners of your home. 7. Gets into laundry. Shakti carries socks. You come home, and there it is. One of your socks somehow dragged halfway across the living room. Maybe you laugh, maybe you sigh, but here's the thing that's not random mischief. In an fMRI study at Emory University, researchers found that the scent of a familiar owner activated the reward center of a dog's brain more than any other smell. So when your dog curls up on your sweatshirt or parades around with your socks, he's not being naughty. He's keeping a piece of you close. Does he do it more when you've been away? Like he's holding on until you come back. Have you noticed how calm he looks when he finally lies down with something that smells like you? It's his way of saying, you're my comfort zone. And while scent keeps you close in his mind, his tail tells the world how he feels about you in the moment, but only if you know how to read it. 8. Wags tail. You've seen it 1,000 times, that tail swishing back and forth when you walk in the room. But here's what most people don't realize. A wag isn't always a happy sign. Studies show that when a dog wags more to the right, it's often linked to positive feelings. More to the left can signal stress or uncertainty. The height, speed, and stiffness of that wag all tell a story. Have you ever noticed your dog's tail held high and wagging fast when he's curious, or low and slow when he's unsure? Every flick is a piece of his emotional language. Now imagine how much more connected you'd feel If you could read that language in real time, could you spot the difference between excitement and nervousness just by the way his tail moves? And when that tail goes into overdrive, especially after you've been gone too long, you're about to witness one of the most heartwarming, unmistakable signs of love your dog can give. For 9, goes crazy when you get home late. You know that moment you open the door, late maybe hours after you meant to, and your dog comes flying at you like you've been gone for days. His tail is a blur. His body can't stop wiggling. He might even whine or bark like he's scolding you and celebrating you at the same time. This isn't just excitement. Research shows that reunions with their owners lower a dog's cortisol, the stress hormone, and boost oxytocin, the same bonding chemical we talked about earlier. To him, you weren't just at work. You were out there in the world, and now you're back safe. Does he ever bring you a toy in that moment, or lick your face like he's trying to erase the time apart? That greeting says, "You're home," and that's all that matters. And here's the thing. Even when you don't leave the house, he still wants to keep you close. In fact, sometimes he won't let you out of his sight. For 10, follows you around. No matter where you go. The kitchen, the garage, even the bathroom there, he is right behind you. Some people call it clingy, but studies on the secure base effect show that dogs see their trusted person the way a child sees a parent as a safe anchor in the world. When you move, he moves because being near you gives him confidence. Have you noticed how he settles quicker when you're in the same room, even if you're not paying him attention? Or how he'll get up and follow you for no reason, as if the walk itself is the point? It's not about treats or playtime. That's about closeness. It started the day he imprinted on you, whether he was a puppy fresh from the litter or a rescue finding his first real home. And now all these signs, from the yawns to the tail wags, weave together into one truth that's impossible to miss once you know how to see it. So now you've seen it 10 different ways your dog says, "I love you," without ever speaking a word. From that yawn he catches from you, to the way he locks eyes and softens his gaze. From the little eyebrow lift he saves just for you, to curling against you after a meal. From placing his favorite worn-out toy in your hands, to trusting you enough to rest your palm on his head. From carrying your scent around the house, to telling stories with his tail. From celebrating your return like you've been gone a lifetime, to shadowing your every step like you're the center of his world. Maybe you've recognized all of them. Maybe a few surprised you. And remember what I told you at the start. Sign number 5, the toy offering. That's the one so many owners miss, yet it's pure trust in its rawest form. Which of these signs does your dog show most? Do you think he has his own way of saying, "I love you," that didn't make the list? I'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments so we can keep learning from each other. And if you want to understand even more about your dog's emotions, stick around for the next video. We'll dive into the hidden signals in a dog's body language that most owners overlook. And knowing them could change the way you connect with your best friend forever.